Good morning, SDA juniors. Hope you guys have had a great week so far and ready for today's session. So as you guys know the layout, we're just going to go through a quick recap. We've got 3 questions for today, which are: what are the principles of training? Why is each principle important? And how can we apply them to our training program? And at the end, there's something for you guys to do for next week. So just a quick recap from what we did last week. Last week we looked at what are the key elements of a training program. Okay, so we spoke about our warm-up and how do we conduct a warm-up. So our ramp protocol, right? So we raise your heart rate, we activate the muscles, we mobilize the muscles, and then we potentiate. Then we have exercise selection, the volume, so how much of each exercise we're doing, the intensity. So remember how heavy we're going to lift, how fast are we going to be moving, or what the rest and the recovery is, and obviously the goals of the training program. And we've got to make sure, why is each element important? So we need to ensure that each one correlates with the sport, the program, and the athlete. Okay? And how can you adapt each element to your training needs? So remember, we've got to go through our needs analysis of the athlete, of the sport as well, your training history, and your training age. So this week, what are the principles of training? Okay, so we've got 6 of them here. Okay, and we've got specificity, which is, does the movement itself or the program correlate directly to the sport? Okay, then you've got individualization. So does that program meet the needs of each athlete? It's got to be based on the specific needs of each athlete, because everyone is completely different. Then progressive overload, we've spoken about this before. Does the program get more challenging over time, whether it's your different types of movements, if it's your volume, if it's your intensity, it needs to get more difficult. Okay, frequency, this is how many sessions there are either in the day, the week, the month, and the year. Okay, reversibility. So a lot of the time when we stop training, we go into what we call a detraining effect. But if you've done the job correctly, the athlete should be able to come out of detraining quite quickly and straight into a new program. Then, of course, very importantly, recovery. Athletes need to recover in order to improve. So why is each principle important? So principles make up the purpose of what training is. Okay, we need to make sure that it correlates with the athlete, sport, and the program. Okay, and we've got to get the most out of the program and out of our athletes. Okay, we've got to make sure that the goals of the program, the athlete, and the coach all correlate together to ensure that the athlete becomes the best athlete they possibly can be. So how do we apply them to our training program? So we need to understand that these principles need to be used as guidelines for the coach to produce the effective plan. Okay, this is sort of like the rule book of training. Okay, so you need to go through your principles, and each plan that you create in the future needs to have these principles, because without these principles there will not be a training program. So for next week, I want you guys to complete the practical session, and then I want you to explain to the best of your ability, why do you think we need principles in order to develop training programs? Okay, what I want you guys to do as well is I want you to start taking the examples of workouts that I'm sending through, and I want you to start thinking about how you can develop your own program based on the needs of yourself and what goals you have. I really look forward to seeing what you guys come up with, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.